Hey folks, welcome back. You know, today I'm on a new property here and I'm going to take you on this property tour, and I'm photographing the property as we go. And this is part of my job as a land specialist here with Whitetail Properties Real Estate. But I thought this might be interesting to you as a buyer so that you could kind of learn how I look at these properties and the ways that I add value to these properties or take into account the values of the property. It's not just the area that I'm looking at, it's the area around here that makes this a complete package. Assessing value, that's today's episode on the American Landman. Now you see me walking in on this property. You can see the trail system that's behind me. These were left over from the logging, which is a real benefit of the MFL plan. They come in with their logging equipment and they will clear this out, and these are the remnant trails. What would be better for this property is if the owner came in here or hadn't paid me to do it, come in here with a trail mower and just clear out these trails. They're easy to walk on as it is, but when you show a property, if I can drive around these well and it looks manicured and it just looks better, and the buyers seem to respond positively to that. So spend a little bit of time, mow your trails, have somebody do it for you if you can't afford it, but it definitely will be worth your time, and it can really increase, again, a little bit of the saleability of a property. People will pay more for it. So mow your trails. So when you're a buyer, you've got to kind of decide what you're going to do with the property. How do you want to use the property? If you're a hunter, you know, honestly, habitat isn't that great. It's too open. The deer aren't going to want to be in this openness. Now there's some areas down below, we'll show you that later, that are thicker and the habitat is better. But if you're non-hunter and just maybe a bird watcher, or you just want to come and walk through the woods, this is beautiful. This is almost park-like. We've heard this term, you know, go for a walk in the park. This is what it looks like. People actually like to see this. They like to see these big trees, this open forest, and it really comes back to, you know, what is your goal as a landowner? How do you want to use it? So if you're a hunter, you're going to look for thicker area. If you're a wildlife enthusiast, just like to enjoy the property, this might be very attractive to you. It's definitely beautiful for sure. You know, old stand sites can tell a story. They don't add anything to the value of a property, but you find old places like this where obviously a hunter was sitting here, and a lot of times when I see this, I kind of just take a pause and look around and go, why did they choose this spot? Well, to me it's pretty obvious, because just another 30 feet past this is a ridge where it drops down and it gets into a black ash swamp. So obviously the deer are working this area here. More than likely they're kind of staying just below this military crest down into this valley, and they're moving around down there. There's better cover, there's better food, and that's why that old hunter chose that spot. It just makes a lot of sense, and I'm sure I'm going to find yeah, right here. I always find these trails. Here's the trail right here. So they're coming off this ridge, heading down into this black swamp. And that's why this guy chose this spot. So these old stands can really teach you a lesson. So keep your eyes peeled when you're looking around. Just ask yourself, why did they sit here? Here's an example of what I call a riparian wetland. This is a wetland. And of course, Lucy's going to go in there and wallow around in there like a hog. But these little wetlands add a lot to the biodiversity. You know, they're a place to get a drink. Frogs and lizards and all types of animals live there. But you got to love labs, huh? Okay, well, I'm stepping into an area that has been managed differently, and you can notice it. Notice the stem count, see how much thicker it is. There's a lot more greenery in here. I can only see, you know, 30-40 yards through the timber versus the 100 yards through the timber as I could before. So again, age class diversity, management, as to huntability. There's some more trails. I'm seeing trails here. They've definitely logged here, but they cut this less than the other areas, and that's key to value. I'm going to give this a little higher. I just love seeing this. It's almost like a mosaic of age class and diversity and species diversity. All that adds up to edge, little micro edges where the deer are moving, the wildlife benefits, everything benefits. Songbirds, bears, deer, everything benefits from this age class diversity and this mosaic effect. Oh, look at there, goes a deer right there. I don't know if you see that. That's a nice looking buck right there. That was a surprise. I hope that got on the camera. That was a nice 10-point buck. Good looking buck. Okay, so that gives you a pretty good idea about the property. So next, let's go take a look at some of the area around this property and what makes it valuable to the potential buyer, who might be you. Well, here I am at the gates of Coiling Creek, and I'm about, I'd say, a mile from the property. And this is a great asset close to this property. It adds a lot of value because there's a lot of recreational activities to do here versus just on your own property. They have sporting clays, skeet, they release pheasants, you can come and hunt. Just a great area. And it also does wedding receptions and events because they've got some lodges that you can rent, and there's a nice little tavern. So this adds a lot of value to a property. It just adds to more appeal to the area, that people will want to come up and stay here. When you turn around and get ready to sell it, they're going to like it just as much as you did. And finally are the nice little towns like Siren, Wisconsin. It's a small little town just 7 miles north of the property, but you know, people from the cities love to come up to these little country towns. They've got a lot to offer. It has the grocery stores and little taverns and bars. There's even little county parks you can come and enjoy a little swim. So look for the areas that and what they offer and kind of branch out. And these types of things really add value to the overall purchase. I hope this has made sense to you. Don't just look for the property, look what the area offers. It all adds value to the property. It adds to the enjoyment factor, and it's something that has to be taken into consideration. Hey, I'm Neil Hauger. I'm a land specialist with Whitetail Properties Real Estate. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. This is a listing that is now listed at $156,000. If you're interested, give me a call. It won't last long. I'll talk to you soon. You've been watching The American Landman.